Sassy Eliot.
Girl! The WIP Afternoon Show with Ike, Spike, and Fritz. It's 3 o'clock on Tuesday. He doesn't respect us enough to bring in his own headphones. That is Eliot Shorr-Parks, who is... Oh, are those yours? Those must be yours, right? No.
No, they're not.
Wait, what's wrong? You gonna limp over there?
Yeah.
Never that.
You all
not
right?
on this show.
You all right, buddy?
Oh, here we go.
It's fine.
The headphones
I
don't
can
even
hear
work.
you
You
guys.
can't,
No, they don't.
can't hear
They don't.
Fritz.
They
You
don't.
can't-
Well, Fritz never talks when I'm on anymore because I say Phillies things.
Max, can you find us some extra headphones just so Elliot can hear? Because I want Elliot to be able to hear the caller. It's okay. We
Still
can go.
one of the scariest moments of my career is when I did the Ricky postgame pod with you and my headphones didn't work for
Oh,
a few
yes.
minutes.
Yeah. Well,
What's wrong with it?
You know, I don't like
That's
when...
exactly what I needed.
Oh, there we go. He got the quarter-inch adapter. There we go. You hear it okay now? There it goes, Elliot.
Just when I thought I was doing better with the inside of the earphone.
You and technology is a...
It is.
It's crazy
Yeah.
because you're a younger fella.
Yeah.
Like, you should be better
Well,
with
it's nice of
technology.
you to call me young. You always call me old.
Well, you're pushing 40.
Yeah, I'm not pushing.
Well, you are.
Well, you're barely.
Depends how
towards
you
it.
define it.
You're 38, right?
Yeah, I think 39 is pushing.
No.
No.
38's pushing 40.
I got
round
2
up.
full years.
It's not 2 full years.
It's less than 2
I
full
just
years.
turned 38 in November.
Weeks ago. Months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're pushing 40.
I thought that was easily October. Your birthday was.
Jack, could you put up a Twitter poll? Is 38 pushing 40? Yes or no? Elliot, would you trade the Eagles pick this year for Maxx Crosby?
I would not.
Why not?
No. So I think that if the Eagles have only a finite number of resources, right? Draft picks and cash. And I think they have bigger holes on this roster than going and getting Maxx Crosby. I would even argue that a backup offensive tackle is more important to this roster than Maxx Crosby would be. And obviously that's a different level of asset. They're not going to spend whatever it would take on the backup offensive tackle. But they had a great defense last year. They had a good pass rush last year. They're probably going to re-sign Jaelan Phillips. And the main issues on this team are on the offensive side of the ball. And they're going to be only as good as the offensive line is. I know everyone's convincing themselves they're going to scheme their way to 38 points this year and Devontae's going to have 140 catches. Like, they're just going to be as good as the offensive line. So until I've addressed those positions on the offense, I'm not using a premium asset to go get really what would be a luxury player on defense.
To me, spending that money on Jaelan Phillips is an issue too. Like, I would rather trade the pick and pay Crosby than spend that money on Jaelan Phillips, considering what Jaelan Phillips is probably going to get as one of the 2 best edge rushers in free agency
Maxx
this year.
Crosby, I think, is already owed $35 million this year and next year.
Yeah.
So it's minimum 70 that you're basically guaranteeing him.
Yeah.
I don't think Jaelan Phillips will get close to 70 million guaranteed.
No, but he'll get $50 million guaranteed.
Yeah, but $50 million plus the 23rd pick. I mean, the 23rd pick is probably the top asset they have right now. Right? Like, there's probably not many players on the roster more valuable than the 23rd pick. So, like,
you're probably right.
To trade that for Maxx Crosby, not that Maxx Crosby is obviously a great player, but they already have a great defense, and they've had great defenses without investing that type of money in an edge rusher before. Like, for all this talk about how he really values the lines, and he does, what's the most he's ever spent on an edge? Like, Bryce Huff got decent money. Hassan Reddick got decent money. I mean, Michael Bennett, obviously, I'm just trying to think of guys he acquired. Chris Long, like, they didn't make big money.
No,
He's never paid an edge big money.
BG's probably made the most.
Yeah, but that's like
Total.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he pays defensive tackles. Like, he paid Fletcher Cox. I think he'll pay Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. But they rotate their guys so much that I think getting someone with the 23rd pick ideally should be a full-time stud starter. And I think they need them at safety. They need that at receiver once they trade AJ. They're going to need it at offensive tackle or offensive guard in 2027. So I think you can get just much better value for the 23rd pick than Maxx Crosby.
I guess
for this team.
I'm just worried about the edge rotation you talk about. The only guy that I think is going to play every down is, or play a lot, is Jalen Hunt. Nolan Smith is hurt all the time. Jaelan Phillips is hurt all the time. They're probably going to bring Brandon Graham back, who's 38 years old. So I think it's probably the weakest position on the team overall.
Yeah, but they had a fine defense last year without a great edge rusher.
But it doesn't mean you can't build a great defense different than you've built it before.
Agreed, but I think what last year showed me was you're just always going to go as far as the offense takes you. Like, they had a great defense last year, and they didn't win a playoff game. So they need to have an offense next year that is better than it was last year. And that starts with the offensive line playing better. It starts with the quarterback playing better.
But it's not a personnel issue.
On offense, it might be. They're not going to have AJ. They're not going to have Goddard. Like, now I think they'll go out and sign people, but the offensive line, almost every single spot is a question mark heading into next year. Like, I don't think it's a stretch to say they might need 2 or 3 really quality backup offensive linemen next year.
Well, they're not going to find 2 or 3.
I don't think it is a stretch. They
I
need
mean,
2
you're
or
right. It'll
3.
be tough to find. Like, Drew Kendall will be one. I think they'll probably, if you could ask Howie what his ideal pick in the first round would be, I think it'd be an offensive lineman that's like stud physically, can play guard tackle for 1 year, and he's a backup. So we'll see. But yeah, I think they need to address other things before using. And the other part of this is the 23rd pick should be a cost-effective starter for you. Turning it into a super expensive starter is not great business.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I think that's fair. So you had a report that the Eagles are interested in David Njoku from the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all pretty sure that Dallas Goedert is gone.
So I think the Goddard definitely being gone thing is being written a little prematurely. So I think if they sign Njoku, then Goddard is almost definitely gone. I still think there's a world where Goddard would come back with Njoku if the market's not there for him. I mean, it would be very Eagles. Think about how the Eagles do things. When they get slow on offense, they go out that offseason, they sign every fast receiver they can. They get too old on offense, and they're in like 2 years, they're the youngest team in the league. Last year, the scheme is a thing every single day, and now they're like doing this smorgasbord of a scheme. So when they correct, they overcorrect. And Howie was very clear when he spoke to reporters a few weeks ago that the tight end position is one where he probably didn't do a good enough job last year, and they need to reevaluate how they do things. So it would not shock me if they go out and spend big money. And I think they will spend big money on Njoku. Like, I think that'll be a $10, $12 million a year contract that they're going to hand him. And then if Goddard doesn't find a great place, he takes a $20 million cap hit, which isn't the end of the world. If he walks, they're like cap hit wise more incentive to keep him.
Right.
So if Njoku doesn't happen, then I think Goddard could be back. But even if Njoku does, I wouldn't completely rule out Goddard. It's obviously unlikely, but I just wouldn't completely rule it out.
I'm confused on the Goddard thing. I thought he was a free agent.
He is, but
this is
pretty complicated. But like the way they do things with void years, he's a free agent, but the way they stretch the money out, because it's voided, a lot rushes up if he ends up signing with another team.
It's really this year and next year, right? Or is it I think it's this year and next year. They have a bunch of void years.
Well, this year, for all the talk of the A.J. Brown dead cap space, A.J. Brown, if they trade him, would be $43 million in dead cap.
Yeah.
This year, they're already set to have Bryce Huff, James Bradbury, and Darius Slay close to $40 million in dead money. So they just don't care about it.
Yeah.
It's just not. Remember with the whole Carson thing, they were worried, have a $35 million cap hit. They traded him, no problem with that. Yeah. So they care more about the cash. And with AJ, you will save cash by trading him.
So the reason it benefits them to have Goddard here is because then at least his money would be going towards something,
right,
as opposed to if he's not here, it's going toward nothing.
I didn't realize you could still, even as a free agent, you still got cap ramifications.
Yeah, void
and obviously if Goddard, look, I think it's unlikely Goddard stays, obviously, but he likes being here. They like him. They're going to do 2 tight end stuff. Both Njoku and Goddard have had somewhat trouble staying healthy. And if you're going to have Jaelan throw over the middle of the field, I think it's very critical to have guys that he is comfortable throwing to over the middle of the field. And Goddard and him, he probably has more chemistry with Goddard than maybe any other pass-catching option. Like, he's played with him his whole career. He's a red zone target for him. So I think bringing Goddard back would be smart. But I think it's going to be Njoku.
I guess I'm sort of surprised that Njoku's worth $10 or $12 million a year at 30, given his injury history.
I am too.
Yeah, is it just the free agent market with tight ends thin? Is that why?
Njoku, to me, I would have my hesitations on signing him, but I also think there's some Saquon similarities there. Like, Saquon with the Giants was a first-round pick, obviously higher than Njoku, but a first-round pick that clearly physically had a bit of injury history, but didn't really reach his potential in New York because of, let's be honest, like playing for the Giants.
Yeah.
I think Njoku is older than Saquon, but Njoku has a lot of those same characteristics. The Eagles will view him as a former first-round pick that hasn't met his potential, super gifted athletically, and in Cleveland, he's had a terrible setup. Like, he's had tons of
quarterbacks.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
So I think they'll view him as coming in and being able to reach potential that he was not able to reach in Cleveland.
Ooh, I tell you, you got me excited when you said we could keep both of them.
Yeah, I would say the chances are small, but I just don't get the sense Goddard's off the table. Like, all this talk about Goddard's gone, that's not the sense I get. Is he definitely much better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maxx Crosby?
Yeah, than Jaelan Phillips?
Yeah, I mean, Maxx Crosby's had 15 sacks, 14 sacks, 10 sacks.
Right, he's had a better career.
Yes.
I think right now, Jaelan Phillips is not better than Maxx Crosby.
I think that Jaelan Phillips is
this is the most warmed up thing. You know what I hate? You know what I can tell?
Sorry, I was going to bring up stats and stuff, but I'll just,
you know what I can tell by watching all you little worms?
We all see it.
Is when all you little worms agree on one thing out of nowhere, and Jaelan Phillips is all you little worms have been infected.
Actually, he's had a breakup.
Yeah, Jaelan.
First of all,
I expect
guarantee
him to bring
none
back
of the other
Jaelan
worms
Phillips.
agree with me about the Maxx Crosby Jaelan Phillips take. I would guarantee that.
Okay, yeah, but they all think the
I'm
Eagles
saying
are bringing.
if you look at what Maxx Crosby costs compared to what Jaelan Phillips is, I don't know if there's a massive gap. Jaelan
Phillips is probably going to cost $25 million a year.
Yeah, and Maxx Crosby might cost $40 million a year.
No, he costs
35
or
right
30.
now if he doesn't get a new contract.
Okay.
You know what you think he's going to want to raise? Everyone that gets traded gets a new contract.
He just signed a contract last year.
If he comes to the Eagles, he has every power to then get a new contract.
He's way better than Jaelan Phillips.
He's better. I agree.
2 sacks in 7 weeks.
But Jaelan Phillips is in the top of the league in pressures.
Yeah,
he just.
I'm
just
there it is.
Great. Put him in the Hall of Fame. Put him in the Hall of Fame. The almost
pressure.
Yeah.
Okay, so would you rather have Maxx Crosby at $40 million a year and a 23rd pick plus, or would you rather have Jaelan Phillips at $28 a year and no draft pick?
Maxx Crosby.
Why?
Because he's way better than Jaelan Phillips.
I don't think he's way better. And also, when you take into account the assets, I think actually Jaelan Phillips would be a better decision.
Well, you can say it's a better decision. He's not a better player.
That's the difference.
I agree, but obviously assets matter.
You know what? I don't know if you listen to Howie, but they're in the business of getting and keeping blue chip players, and Maxx Crosby is a blue chip player, and Jaelan Phillips is not.
I've been thinking about that.
Yeah.
And Howie's really painted himself into a corner here.
He has.
Because what could the return be where we go, oh, you had to take that?
Right, because he has said that we will listen for anyone, and he's a blue chip player, and which is why we were talking about this yesterday. I believe that Howie cares about how he's perceived in the media.
Definitely.
I believe that when the media says he has a great draft, I believe that he enjoys that happens.
I'm sure he likes Howie season.
Yes, he likes Howie season, all that. When it gets leaked out that they're looking for a 1 and a 2 for A.J. Brown, it does put him in a position where if the best offer is a 3, then it looks like he lost.
Yeah.
It looks like the other team won. And I wonder if he's willing to take that hit based on both these things, based on him saying that, we'll listen to anybody, but we want to keep a great player. If you only get a third, that could become a second, or if it looks like he lost the deal, I wonder what his tolerance for that is.
Like when he says it has to be an offer to blow them away. Like let's say it came out in an hour that they're trading Jalen Carter for 3 first-round picks. We would all go, that's shocking. They must have just got such a crazy offer they had to take it.
Yes.
If they trade AJ for a 2 that could be a 1 or a 1 flat out, that is not an offer where you go, whoa, let's change our plan here.
Yes,
right?
it's not a blown away offer.
If they got offered, someone called them today right now and said, we'll give you a 1 and a 3 for Devontae. Would they do it? I don't think they would. They wouldn't do it for Quinion. They wouldn't do it for Cooper. I don't think they'd do it for Mailata. They certainly wouldn't do it for Jaelan. Like the one in the 2 or 3 or whatever is a good return for a player. But if they truly think AJ is as good as they're talking about him, then it is not worth trading him for a 1 and a 3. If they think he's as good, or internally, if they know, hey, maybe he's declining a little bit. Maybe he's not what he used to be. This is our last chance to get rid of him. Then I think a 1 and a 3 is much more appealing. But if he's actually the A.J. Brown that they are saying he is, then he's worth more than a 1 and a 3 to this team.
Well, here's the thing.
If they didn't have to trade him.
Correct.
That's basically what you're saying.
So
see that, but that's the fly in the ointment.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that you have the player who wants to be traded.
Right.
Allegedly. He wants to be traded. Well, I'm just saying it's reported that he's out there.
He's not said it.
Listen, Maximus is over there clipping stuff, and the next thing you know, he's clipping out something that I'm saying as if it's factual. So my only point is that AJ actually does have some say in this because his happiness of being here, they have to take that into account. So how desperately does he want to be traded? That's where he can undermine or undercut Howie's stance on what he wants in return, because if the reports are out there that they can't get anything higher than a 3, well, that tells you what the market is for AJ right now. And for Howie to say, well, I'm not doing it reportedly for anything less than a first and a second, Well, what if the player wants to be traded? That puts you in a position that you got to get rid of the guy because he wants to be traded, reportedly.
I do.
No, go ahead.
I do think AJ's desire to be in Philadelphia matters to them when making this decision.
Yes.
But I also think that Devontae Smith or Cooper DeJean or Quinion could walk into the NovaCare with a sign saying, trade me right now, and they'd be like, no. Like, I think if they trade AJ, part of it, and the large part of it will be they cash in on him before a year later into his career. Mm-hmm. And I think if they trade him, it'll be because they think he's not as good as he used to be. Like, the him not wanting to be there thing, I think matters, and I think helps smooth over the exit. But if they trade him for a 2 that can be a 1 or a 1 straight up, you can't tell me that's not partially because they don't think he's as good as he used to be. Because they would not trade the other star players on the team for that return.
I believe it's because they realize the market is where it's at, and we better take the best.
That's what I'm saying. They're saying this is our chance to cash in on AJ because.
Well, I disagree with you on how little it matters whether he wants to be here or not.
Yeah, because I think it matters a lot.
But it matters if they don't think the player is super special. Because I guarantee you, Quinion could ask for a trade every single day between now and the end of the season. They would not trade Quinion.
But here's the difference. Before you answer that, Quinion doesn't have the same history of being upset, openly complaining, being critical of the offense, the scheme, being cryptic when who he is forcing, who he's blaming. Like, the Eagles have to take all of that stuff into account as well. Now, believe me, just this past Friday when we were talking about this down there in Clearwater, I was of the same mindset. Bring him back. You can't take anything less than a 2 for him. But then you hear reports his agent is out there trying to gauge places that he can go. That to me says he really wants to be out of here. Like that says that to me that he really wants to be out of here.
Yeah, I agree in part that
if you believe the reports out there about the agent
I think he
at the
clearly
combine.
wants to not play for the Eagles.
And I think that matters more than you're giving credit
But
for.
I think it only matters if they don't think the player is as special anymore. Because if for a special guy, you would make it happen. You'd give him a new contract. You'd acquiesce on things he might want. Like, if they trade AJ, I agree with you, it'll be part of it. But if they thought he was a true stud, number 1, prime of his career, they would not trade him.
Or that they couldn't replace his production.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That's the difference. Players come and go. You got to realize, in my opinion, they cut the second greatest receiver in the history of the game.
Yeah.
Because he was disruptive. It was 20 years ago, but it happened.
And they agreed he was great.
Yeah.
And we all know how great he was.
Right.
And now I do also think, it's something else we discussed yesterday, I do think the money thing, almost being given a pass to trade AJ and solve that money problem that they're going to have at some point, I think I think there's a lot of factors. I don't think it's all just one thing. I think they probably do think he's declining a little bit.
Yeah.
I think they probably realize that they can't pay 2 wide receivers what they're paying them. But I give more weight on the fact that him, even if he's totally special, the disruption level that could be there if he is here during training camp is far greater than I think you're giving it credit for.
I think you're overestimating the disruption a little bit. Like, I agree with you. If he's here day 1, I'll be there, front seat, him, Jaelan, Nick, Howie. AJ's here. Is he upset? I'll be asking the questions. I agree it'll be a top story. They'll answer them, and that'll be it. I don't think they view AJ in the building as disruptive as we're discussing him.
It's not about being disruptive in the building as much as it is when he's not happy how that cloud hangs over the team. Now, if you want to tell me they were going to spiral the way they did no matter what, and AJ had nothing to do with it, okay, I do believe
in 23 you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about last year.
Okay.
Like the offense sort of it went.
The offense never clicked last year.
Yeah. So
still better than the Rams.
That's my only thing. Don't do that.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's my only thing is the player, because I've always said if AJ wants to be here, I would have AJ here.
And I think they feel that way.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like he wants to be here.
Yeah, but I think they can manage him.
They can manage him.
Because despite the fact that I agree there's been disruption, they've obviously still won at a very high clip with him. And you're right, it could be worse next year. I agree.
But it's not after a year where he requested a trade. It's not after a year where his agent was looking for a trade. It's not after a year where he figured he would get traded.
It's all gone up another level each time.
True. But let's also say his agent is not hearing things he wants to hear. right? Like, let's say the agent's going to different teams and they're going, yeah, we think a fair value is a 3, and we might redo your deal, but I don't really know how much we're, so there could be that level too, where the AJ camp doesn't like what they hear, and then all of a sudden he's sitting there and going, yikes, like I could be in like Las Vegas with the Raiders, or I could like stay in a good organization.
215-592-9494. What?
Would you speaking of with the Raiders, swing this thing back around to Maxx Crosby, 1 for 1?
I don't think the Raiders would do it.
So
I would do it.
AJ for Maxx Crosby?
I would do it.
I don't know.
It's like trading a second-round pick for Maxx Crosby.
Yeah.
Yeah, but AJ helps them a ton on offense.
But he's not playing here. He's not playing here.
Well, that's not true. He could be back. I don't think he will be. I think it's small. But like, if you trade him, he won't be. He'll be gone. But like,
I go AJ for Maxx Crosby.
Well, I also think that'd be for the Eagles with like Howie painting himself in a corner. You can trade AJ for Maxx Crosby and say that is a return.
Yes.
Like this is what they'll say. They'll go, Micah Parsons got traded for 2 1s, and we kind of view Maxx Crosby similar. So you essentially got 2 1s, blah blah blah. Like I agree with all that.
And for as important as AJ is to the offense, 23 points a game last year, 29th ranked passing offense the year before. What are we talking about?
I hate that point because
it's based in reality.
No, but like they'll only be worse if they lose AJ.
Maybe
so
not.
You're right. So you're right. Like their
maybe
offense struggled at times last year. Now imagine without AJ, how bad it'll be. I think it'll be way worse.
Devontae's going for 1,300.
Maybe when they're scoring 17 points, be like my guy Jordan Matthews.
Maybe they'd score points when they count. You never know.
And speaking of the Devontae thing, the worms out of the Jeff being like, Devontae's going to go off and then off. Look at we think he's got another level.
Look at Jay.
He gets 120 targets a year already.
Have better numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Speaking of announcers, there's one here in Philly that we may not have for very long if he continues to treat his body the way that he's doing it. Yeah. That is Ben Davis, who, of course, calls games for NBC Sports Philadelphia and is part of the staff here at WIP on with the morning show regularly. He said something this morning that is, I believe, true and also shocking. Go ahead, Jack.
Ben is grimacing. Ben Davis, the floor is yours, sir. Please tell everybody what happened.
Well, I live on Pine Lane in Chadsford, and we have a lot of white pine, and they're terrible trees. If the snow gets on them, they fall. So I had 2 big ones fall, and I got done cleaning up one the other day.
Meaning you chopped it up into small pieces with a chainsaw.
And I was just about done the second one, and there was a branch that went into the ground. I snipped it, and it came back, and the saw cut my kneecap.
What?
Yeah.
The chainsaw.
The chainsaw.
I'm going the camera on you there. What?
I am very, very fortunate. And last night I was laying in bed with my wife, and she said, "I'm so sorry this happened to you." And I said, "I'm actually thrilled it was only as bad as it was."
So how bad was it? Like so what happened?
It was only about 3 inches long, but it went to the bone.
Yeah.
It's a chainsaw.
I know that story.
It's a chainsaw. So I got stir strips holding it together and a big bandage on top with some Neosporin.
All right, let me say
they
something.
Didn't stitch it yet?
James, I see your reaction. I'm going to tell you something that's even more astounding than Ben
I don't know if I can handle much
more astounding than Ben taking a chainsaw to his knee. He hasn't gone to the hospital yet.
Wait, what?
No.
Oh, you probably should.
You should go to the hospital. What are you doing? Go see a doctor.
It needs stitches, but I'm not.
I would say go now.
No, I'm fine.
What do you mean you're fine? That's crazy.
I got a bandage on it. It's good.
Oh, my God.
But you did the bandage.
I do have to keep it straight because every time I kind of bend it, it opens up even more.
Well, that makes that's why you need to have it stitched.
Yeah.
It's
Like
either
now.
can you stitch?
No.
Okay, you should probably go get a pro.
Well, it's like he's in The Revenant or in war or something.
First of all, The Revenant is the first thing I thought of.
Yeah. It's like, I'm caught in the middle of the cold. I'm running from people. I need to stitch it up. Or you're in The Walking Dead. Dude, you live in Chester County. There's urgent, whatever. There's urgent care on the corner everywhere. It went to the bone. Forget about the stitch part, the infection part of it.
Also, I don't think he's taking any pain medication.
Well, go get an antibiotic. He's going to get infected. He's going to lose his leg.
I guarantee you, he took something.
Yes, yeah, probably. I hope he didn't drive to work.
He did.
Yeah, I mean,
He drove to work and sat here and did that show.
Ben.
He was walking with a limp. I saw him this morning.
Ben, go to the doctor. A chainsaw.
I'm not laughing, but I'm laughing.
You know, there is one in my garage that the previous owners left. And
chainsaw?
Yeah, and we had this giant branch land in the back of our lawn. And I looked at it and I said, right, okay, me. Yeah.
I was about to say.
Don't hurt yourself,
we don't,
brother.
and Jack, like, not chainsaw.
No,
guys.
here's what would happen. I would start it.
I'm not a chainsaw
It would be
person
bouncing
either.
around on the ground. I'd call neighbor Bill and I'd say, what do you do when a chainsaw is bouncing around on the ground? And he would do something for me.
I'm more of an axe guy.
Yeah.
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 You
You're
go a little old
right.
school on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You and the axe.
I think the what do you call them? The hedge clippers.
Yeah, I could do those.
That's probably the
I
most
do those.
dangerous tool I have.
Yeah,
I
I do
Weed
hedge
whacker.
clippers.
I got a weed whacker. Like,
Nah,
boom,
too
boom.
scary.
Don't even use weed whacker.
Really?
Too
It's
scary.
got the little thing that spins.
Nah, it could fly off.
Fair.
Too
To
scary.
be fair, I've used it like twice in 3 years. But
So, Jack, where did the Mike Evans rumor come
You don't
from?
even have grass.
From
I do have a
Matthew
little
Berry.
bit, yes, yeah.
So Matthew Berry reported that wait, what was the report exactly? That potentially the Eagles could sign Mike Evans.
Yeah.
So if they lose A.J. Brown, Mike Evans is an MFer. Like, that is a...
he's a number one guy.
No,
Now,
he's
coming off a down year.
Well, he's not a number one anymore.
You don't think so?
I love Mike Evans. Well, he's not still a number one, and that's okay.
Well, he'd be a
What is
good
Mike Evans,
compliment.
Like 13 years or
Yeah,
something?
36
Yeah.
years old,
Yeah,
I think. Yeah.
he's a number one at 36.
He'd be
I think
great.
he's more of a one than like Romeo Dobbs.
I agree.
Just in terms of being used to like being that dude
Yeah,
every
'cause,
Sunday.
I don't see Romeo
Right.
Dobbs there, but he wouldn't be more of a one than Devontae.
I agree. If they signed Mike Evans, I think Devontae would lead the team in targets. I agree with you on that.
I like Mike Evans. I
don't think they're going to sign Mike Evans.
And no way he wants to come here play with that doofus rather than Baker. There's no chance.
Well, I mean, Josh Grizzard. That's the
Doofus.
connection.
Oh, Grizzard. Oh, well, he played for Josh Grizzard for 7 games.
No, Josh Grizzard was on the staff.
He was on the staff. I think people make too much out of that.
I don't think
the
so.
played with thing.
Well, I don't think it's like the number one reason he'd come here, but he has been around Josh Grizzard for 2 years.
That's
so
not the doofus I was talking about.
No, I know.
Yeah,
I'm
I
saying.
know.
Yeah, okay.
No, I know.
Well, hold on.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, who are you calling a doofus?
Well, Jaelan's not a doofus.
I feel like
What,
that's
again?
Yeah.
I don't mean no. I wasn't talking about
I think he's
Nick
talking
either.
about-
I was talking about Jalen. But
Well,
I think Jalen's not a doofus.
if there's one doofus out of those
Yeah,
two.
yes, yeah.
Jalen's a doofus?
No, he's saying coach, Sirianni.
yes.
Yeah, you kidding me?
I think Mike Evans, I wonder whether Tampa wants to spend money on Mike Evans, but I think Mike Evans will get good money for 1 year. That would be my...
I think if they let AJ walk, they're not going to spend big on a receiver.
Let me tell you.
Not walk trade.
Tampa, if he's playing one more year, sign the man to one more damn year
Yeah,
and let him retire a damn buck.
A buck, yeah, I agree.
Jesus.
Unless he's tired of playing with Baker.
Yeah, I'm sure. He wouldn't be tired of playing with Baker.
Why?
What are you talking about? Baker
Have they
gets
won
him the
anything?
ball. But it's not about winning anything.
Well, I think it probably is about a little bit.
The-
Again, I know he won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady, to be clear. I'm
Yes.
saying with Baker. Yeah.
Okay, Baker's been there 2 years, and he had one great year, and he didn't have a great year last year.
Yeah.
Okay, but
And AJ's had great years with Jaelan, and he's won.
and he's dying to get out of here.
He is. You're right.
Dying to get out of
Doesn't
here.
mean he's right. I had a Phillies take I wanted to.
Super.
Can you get it in 30
Yeah.
seconds?
I think it's pretty crazy that we constantly talk about how Nick is like a puppet and Sean Mannion has all the power. When Rob Thompson, they literally hired Don Mattingly to be his right-hand man and quite literally do the job with him and very easy to replace him. Like, I think Rob Thompson's way more of a puppet with no power than Nick is.
Yeah, if you're comparing a baseball manager to a football coach, that's not a good sign for a football coach.
No. I'm saying the Don Mattingly hire, that's the point I'm making. The fact that their big move this offseason was a bench coach of his experience sitting next to Rob Thompson.
You kidding me? That was Preston hiring his dad. Let's be honest.
I think it's
about
interesting.
It. Yeah.
It's not that interesting.
I think it's very
It's
interesting.
not that interesting.
You got him.
You just don't know anything about baseball.
No, I don't need to know
You
about
just
baseball.
don't know
What-
anything
no,
about
I don't
you
need
got
to
it.
for this
Every time you
anymore.
talk
I know
about
Don
baseball,
Mattingly.
knows about
I know, and I do know about
baseball.
baseball. I'm a
No,
big
you
Andrew
don't.
Painter guy. I've been for years. But Don
Did you hear the basketball
Mattingly.
breakdown yesterday?
Yeah, I thought it looked weak. Don Mattingly is a huge name that they're putting right next to him. I think it's interesting. If they did that with Nick, everyone would be like, he's going to get fired. Here we go. Blah, blah, blah.
All right.
Well, yeah. You're right, because he's the first one that said Nick was getting fired.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Don
Well,
Mattingly's a worse
obvious.
example.
That's a good take from Elliot.
It is.
But
It's like
not.
Sean Mannion on steroids.
It's a good take.
Well, it's anyone that knows anything about baseball.
Again, it
it's
has nothing to
not-
do with baseball. These are power
but it
dynamics
is.
we're talking about.
It
Power
has everything to do
dynamics.
with actually knowing baseball.
I don't think it does.
All right. The Go Birds podcast over the next week will be incredible with Go Birds Daily,
Thank
with
you.
free agency coming and then the draft. You can subscribe wherever
Emergency
you get
pods everywhere.
wherever you get your podcasts. You wake up in the morning, there's Elliot right on your phone, whether you want it or not. So,
4 a.m.
All right, Elliot, great job. Thank you for joining us.